Hi, thank you for joining my yoga video on how to have a strong and stable back. I first started having back pain in my mid-20s, and it was in a period of time where I was doing a job that required me to sit a lot. I wasn't as active and getting as much exercise as I was used to, and I simply one day bent down to pick up a box, and it was just like a box of books or papers. It wasn't all that heavy, and I picked it up, probably not using good body ergonomics. And after that, I started having pain in my low back. So today we're going to talk about what you can do to help stabilize and strengthen your back and help prevent that type of back pain. This particular video is going to focus a little bit more on our posture. We're going to give suggestions for standing, sitting, and lying down. And subsequent videos, there's 3 or 4 more videos that are going to give you the specific yoga poses you can do to help you have the strong and stable back. So first, let's look at our standing posture. So although there can be many causes for back pain and back injury, we're going to look today at some of the postural causes. And one of the big ones is an exaggerated lumbar curve. So there's normally a lumbar curve, which is called lordosis, where there's this convex curve of the spine, and that develops when we're young, very babies and young toddlers learning how to walk. But as adults, there's many times that we develop too much of this lordosis or curve, and I'm going to exaggerate mine so you can see what I mean. In this case, our hip bones tilt forward, our pelvis tips forward, and there's an exaggerated curve in our lower back. Also, what happens is our knees tend to hyperextend or lock. So one of the first things we can do is to check our posture when we're standing and walking. And to correct this, we want to gently take our sitting bones, our tailbone, down towards the earth. We want to soften the knees just a little bit so that they're not locked in place. And sometimes it's also really helpful to gently move our balance forward towards the balls of our feet. And all those things can help us to come into a normal curve in our spine. And the other thing that happens is that the heart center begins to open a little bit. The shoulders can relax away from the ears. And you want to also check the curvature of your neck just to make sure that your head is positioned on top of your shoulders and the chin is relatively parallel to the floor. So another really common problem in modern society is when the chin comes forward too far, as we do when we're driving or when we're straining to see our computer screens in front of us, or even when we're texting and looking down towards our phones. So by just taking a few times every day to be mindful of your posture and pay attention can really help a lot to alleviate a pattern of low back pain. And now we're going to talk about seated posture. So most of us, when we're sitting, have a tendency to kind of slump back, and notice how right away there's no good alignment of my shoulders over my hips, and I'm in this kind of slouching position. So one of the things that's really important is to take our hips back in the chair and to use whatever support we need behind our spine so that we can maintain that correct alignment. Shoulders over hips. We also want to make sure that our knees are uncrossed. That really helps our low back and our hips, and our feet can easily touch the floor and can have that grounding quality of being flat on the floor. So as we sit here, we can easily work with our devices if we need to type or something like that. And it's also recommended that your computer monitor that you're looking at when you're watching computer or TV is at eye level, so that the head can stay in this nice aligned position right over the shoulders. Another great suggestion is to use an exercise ball at your desk, especially when you're going to be sitting for more than just a few minutes. And one advantage is these balls are bouncy. They're very buoyant, so you can use a little bit of movement which gets energy flowing up your spine. It's also very good for your hips, and you can spread your legs apart like I'm demonstrating here, which is great for people who tend to have tight hip joints or possibly tight hamstrings. It's a very comfortable position. So I recommend you give it a try. You just need to make sure that you get one of these balls that's the right height for your setup. This one is a 55. Okay. So I'm going to give you also a few suggestions for when you're lying down or sleeping at night. So if you're sleeping on your back, you may want to use a little pillow underneath your knees to support your legs. And by having the pillow underneath my knees, that definitely takes a lot of pressure off my lower back. And experts also recommend that if you sleep on your stomach, which typically is not recommended, but if you do, that you might want to use a small pillow, such as this little pillow here, and place it underneath your body so that will take some of the strain off your low back when you're sleeping on your stomach. And that does feel a lot more comfortable than not using a pillow at all.